What's good, YouTube peeps and barbecue freaks? Thank you guys for stopping by today. Today's video is going to be a little different from what I normally do. Actually, it's going to be a lot different from what I normally do. We aren't going to do any cooking today. This video is going to be for a, it's probably going to be for a selected few, quite honestly. But I feel that in making this video, that there are a few of you that it could probably help. And I just kind of want to share my experience in taking one of these classes that I'm going to talk about here. So today's video is actually going to be about, upping your barbecue game, and is it really worth taking a barbecue class wherever you're at? Now, I have a lot of you subscribers who are in Texas, actually quite a bit, but I understand that I have a ton of you guys that are not in Texas. So the class that I'm going to talk about may not pertain to you. However, the reasoning behind me doing it and me talking about it and making this video, if you're in the competition world, may pertain to you. Those of you who aren't in the barbecue competition world, this video isn't going to be for you. I understand if you guys just completely skip it altogether. I don't blame you. But I want to target this to a specific group of cooks. And in fact, I have a lot of you that are who have actually reached out to me that are young teams. You're just starting out in the barbecue world, and have a ton of questions about competition barbecue. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about that. Again, if that's not your thing, I completely understand. You guys skipping this video. Trust me, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. So let me first start off by saying I by no means am the greatest barbecue comp guy in the world or even in the state. However, I'm extremely passionate about competition barbecue. I'm passionate about dominating that world, and there's a point that I want to get to, and I hope one day to be on the level that a lot of guys are that, here in Texas, that I look up to and are, at that top echelon of competition barbecue that I aim to be at one day. So I don't want to come off as a know-it-all or acting like I'm the best at what I do, because I'm not. In fact, the class I'm going to talk about, I felt like I knew a lot, and after taking this class, I realized how much I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, and I could see, and even competing against a lot of other guys, I can see that there's a long way for me to go to be on the level that I want to be at. So I'm just going to kind of share that with you guys today. I'm hoping not to make this video too long, but again, if you're someone who's wanting to get into the competition world, you may find this interesting. If you're not going to find this interesting at all. And again, I totally understand. So just to kind of backtrack a little bit and give you a little bit of information about me. When I first started competition barbecuing, my very first one was January of 2015. And man, when I walked that first tray up, I was hooked. It was like a drug. And I've been passionate about competition barbecue ever since that day. And that was the day that I felt like I found my calling, my passion. And 4.5 years later, I'm still at it. And there's been a lot of mistakes, a lot of learning along the way, a lot of moments of frustration. There were a lot of times where I thought, man, like, what am I missing? I felt my stuff was good, but I wasn't getting any calls. And I'm seeing these constant, the same people constantly walk in, and I'm like, holy cow, like, what are they doing? What's their secret? And I could not figure it out. And, it took me a while to finally decide, you know what, man, maybe I need to take one of these barbecue classes that you see maybe advertised online. Here in Texas, we have multiple classes. Where you guys are at, you have other people who I know put on classes. And you might be someone who is in that right now in that same moment where, man, you're just chugging along and, you're putting out money week in and week out, just trying to get this thing down, and you can't. In fact, I was just talking to a good buddy. I won't name him because I didn't ask if I could mention him, but just today I got a text message from a good buddy of mine who is in the competition world, and he was really struggling with ribs, and constantly struggling with ribs. But I was the same way. Like, it's just for so long, probably for the first 2.5 years, I just couldn't figure it out. And you're spending, if you've ever done a comp, I mean, it's not cheap. You have an entrance fee that's anywhere from $125, $150 on up. You have all your meat you got to buy, all your supplies, all your rubs, everything. These things are not cheap. So you're going into, one weekend spending a few $100s easily. And to not get calls can be really, really frustrating. Trust me, I know. I did it for 2.5 years. Finally, I decided to take a class, and I'll be honest. I mean, I wanted to do it, but I really didn't want to do it because part of me felt like I needed to figure out on my own. But let me tell you guys, if that's you, if there's a class in your area, do not be afraid to take it. It's a great way to shorten the learning curve. You get a lot of tips and tricks that you didn't even consider doing. I mean, from not only like what rubs to use, what sauces to use, what injections or brines to use, but small things like just how to cut your meat. You would think, at least for me, I thought I knew how to cut my meat. I knew how to trim a brisket. I knew how to trim chickens and ribs. But like I said, you don't know what you don't know. Taking some of these classes, or taking a barbecue class, is a great way to pick up a ton of information and to shorten the learning curve. Now, I will say some of these classes are a little pricey. They could be $500 and up. But if you're someone who's passionate about barbecue, competition barbecue, you have to look at it as an investment. And when you're spending hundreds of dollars each week to spend a couple of hundred more for a class, in order to kind of shorten that learning curve, it's definitely worth it. You can actually make your money back at one competition, a lot of times with just one call. So I highly recommend it. I took one, and probably about 2 years ago, and I really upped my game. I learned so much. But the barbecue game world has changed so much that while I started to do a whole lot better and have a whole lot of success, I found I got to a point where things just kind of evened out. And I thought, man, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm doing everything right. I'm doing everything that I was taught, and I was having success with it, and now it isn't working. Like, what do I need to do now? And I just didn't realize after taking this last class that I took, that I'm going to talk about, I didn't realize how much the barbecue game world changes, over time. I mean, the sport has so many great cooks now that a lot of things that you used to do back in the day aren't going to work now. So some of the cooks, or one of the top cooks that I actually look up to here in Texas, there are probably a few of them, or there are a few of them, but one of them is Arnie Segovia with Smoking Lone Stars. This guy, Arnietex, aka Mr. Consistent. This guy has just throughout the years, I want to say the last 20 years, and I hope I got that right, but so over the last 20 years has been competing in Texas, and he's won so much. He's figured out throughout the years what changes need to be made, what's working now, what isn't working. Again, they call him Mr. Consistent because he wins so consistently. And, he's someone who I call a friend. He's someone who I've hung out with multiple times. outside of this class, but he puts on classes throughout the year. And I've been trying, gosh, probably for the last 6 months to take one of his classes, but scheduling wise, I just hadn't been able to do it. But I've finally been able to take one of his classes, and let me tell you, this was probably it was probably the best thing I did. Not only did I gained so much information, but it really made me feel, and all the information that I got, it really made me feel confident, and I could take what I learned, go out, implement it, and have success. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know. In taking this class, he gives you all of his rubs for brisket, ribs, and chicken. Gives you all of his injections, the same ones that he uses, all of his brines for chicken or whatever. Everything that he does, he gives you note for note. He'll start with one meat. He'll go through the trimming process and tell you, not only tell you, but show you in the class exactly how he trims it, tells you why he trims it a certain way, then gives you his exact injections, his exact rubs or marinades. Tons of great information. And I'll tell you, for an example, when it comes to chicken, I cut my chicken a certain way, and I felt really confident in doing that. After taking this class, I realized that I was doing it wrong. Cutting it the way that he does, him not only showing you that, but telling you why you do it that way is huge. And in seeing that, I thought, holy cow, like that makes so much sense. Here I am thinking the way that I do it makes a ton of sense, but watching him do it and explaining why he does it, man, it was just, that information is invaluable. And that was for chicken, ribs, and brisket. To learn the injections, the brines, the rub combinations. He gives you actually multiple different rubs. Let's just take chicken, for example. He'll give you one recipe for chicken, one rub recipe for chicken. He'll give you another. He usually gives you about 3 for each meat. So you have 3 different combinations that you can try. And these are all proven methods, proven recipes that have been successful in Texas on the comp trail. It's definitely worth the investment. Even my wife attended this class with me, and just after the first day, we just went over, I think it was injections and sauces, if I remember correctly. Just after that first day, my wife was just blown away about how much information was given out, how much information that she learned. She knows what I do, so to know what I do and to see what Arnie does and why he does it, it was not only was it mind blowing for me, it was mind blowing for her. This class is, listen, if you're gonna take a class in Texas, take Arnie's class. You get tons of great information. Again, I know a lot of you are not in Texas, you're in a lot of other states, but the same thing would apply. You have guys in your states that I'm sure put on competition classes, and I would highly recommend you attend those. If you're in Texas, there are probably 3, maybe 4 classes in Texas that I would take. After Arnie's class, I've taken 2 of them. But if you're in Texas, and Arnie travels throughout the state putting on classes, and I will leave a link below to his Facebook page and stuff where you can find that information out. But listen, if you're in Texas, if you're a Texas pitmaster and you're looking for a class to take, listen, you gotta take Arnie's class. Arnietex, Mr. Consistent. It is, I know people who have taken this class and instantly, when you implement what he tells you to do, you practice it and you're consistent with it, these guys are walking week in and week out. In fact, I took his class. The next weekend, I did a competition, and my brisket, oh my word, probably the best brisket I've ever made. Running his recipes, running his techniques, trimming my brisket the way that he showed us to trim it. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you saw the pics that I posted of the brisket that I cooked. Phenomenal. Arnie has a class. For those of you Texas Pitmasters, if you're looking for one, Arnie's the way you want to go. Check out Arnie's class. I can't speak highly enough, not only about the class, but about the man himself. He is a really down-to-earth guy. You know, he's not one of these cooks that's stuck up and that won't let you approach him or call him or email him or whatever to ask information. He's just really, he's passionate about making the barbecue game world better also. And he's just an all-around great dude. Even after the class, whenever he comes up with new recipes that he's tried out and works, or that he tries out and finds out that they work, if you've taken this class, he'll send you even those new recipes. So you're not getting just what you learned in the class, but you're getting new stuff that he tries out in the future. So I cannot speak highly enough about that class. I think there was 14 or 15 of us in that class. So it's a great way to meet some really good guys, make some new friends. You get dinner on Friday night, breakfast on Saturday morning. It's just laid back. You can bring your beers, hang out, and just have a good time. It's very stressless. You bring a notepad, pen, and whatever you want to drink, and he provides everything else. He provides all the meat and all the seasonings and everything, and lets you know where you can get everything. It's just a really, really, really great class. You guys, I try to build a reputation of being honest, and whenever I'm pushing a product, which, I mean, I don't really push a whole lot outside of the Heaven Made products, but if I speak highly of something, I think I've built a reputation, and I hope I have, that you guys will trust that what I'm saying is honest and truthful. If you're in Texas and you're looking for a class to take, Arnie's the way you want to go. And the last thing I want to say to end this video is, I had people who, actually I had 3 different people who contacted me when they found out that I was going to take this class and said, hey, I took his class, I have his notes, pay me half the price and I'll give you his notes. Now that sounds really good, right? You pay half the price and you get all the recipes from the class that you're going to go to. Let me tell you, that is not the way to go. That is actually a really dumb way to go. And I'll tell you why. When I was contacted, I actually thought, that might not be a bad idea, but I'm so glad I didn't. And I'll tell you why. In the class, there are things that he shows you and tells you, talks about, that you don't get in the notes. For an example, how to trim the chicken and why you trim it a certain way. Now the notes gave you what rub to use, but how he trimmed that chicken and why he does it, that's not in the notes, so you don't get that. You have to be in the class to see that. When it comes to brisket, if you're using lower grade brisket, he talked about using certain ingredients. If you just happen to get a select or a choice, because that's all you can find for a comp. He talks about certain ingredients to use to help enhance those meats that aren't in the notes. So while you might get, the rub recipes or injection recipes, there's so much information that you don't get when you do something like that. Not only that, these are guys who do this to help provide for their families. So when you do something like that, you take away from that, it's just not cool. Karma always comes back to bite you in the butt. So, and that's just not like for Arnie's class or here in Texas, but that's anywhere. If someone offers to give you notes for a class that you're taking that they have already took, don't do it. You're not, you might be saving some money, but you're missing out on so much. So I just wanted to mention that. But again, you guys, I will leave a link to Arnie's Facebook page. He'll post throughout the year where his classes are going to be. And if you're in Texas and you're looking for a class to take, I cannot speak highly enough of Arnie's class. There's just so much information that is useful. Again, you don't earn the name Mr. Consistent by not being consistent. I believe he's the first cook that's been inducted into the IBSA Hall of Fame. The dude knows what he's doing. He's a down-to-earth guy, super cool guy, a great cook, and he shares all his stuff with you to help you up your barbecue game. Again, I will leave a link below to his information where you can find him if you're in Texas, and if you're considering taking a class. I truly hope you give him a look, because listen, I took it, and I just think it's great, and I can't wait to keep competing, keep using these recipes, and seeing how it works. Just after 1 week or taking this class, and then the next week doing a comp, how elevated my brisket game was. It was crazy good. So anyway, those of you that have stuck around and watched this video, and again, if you're into the comp world, I hope you found this useful. And again, this doesn't pertain to just anyone who lives in Texas. You got those of you that are in other states have classes, I'm sure, that you could take, and I highly recommend doing it. It's an investment in yourself. You shorten the learning curve. It's definitely worth the money. So thank you guys for joining me today. I hope you guys found this information useful. I will see you guys next time. Take care.